silent power, how being unavailable makes you more attractive. Opening with a captivating story. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Emma who had always been the life of the party, always available, always there for everyone. She was the kind of person who would drop everything to help a friend, rearrange her schedule to accommodate others, and constantly put everyone else's needs before her own. But despite her generosity and constant availability, Emma often found herself feeling unappreciated, taken for granted, and, ironically, very much alone. One day, Emma decided to make a change. She realized that her constant availability was not only exhausting her but also diminishing her value in the eyes of others, so she started setting boundaries. She became more selective with her time, more focused on her own needs, and less available to those who didn't reciprocate her efforts. The result? People began to notice her absence, to value her presence more, and to seek her out with a renewed appreciation. This is the silent power of being unavailable. It's the power of scarcity, the principle that what is less available becomes more desirable. Setting the stage for discussing silent power. Today we're going to explore the concept of silent power, the subtle yet profound effect that being less available can have on your attractiveness and your relationships. We'll delve into the psychology behind why unavailability works, how you can harness this power strategically, and how real-life examples illustrate the effectiveness of this approach. Because here's the truth: sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to step back, create space, and let others come to you. The psychology of unavailability. Why being less available makes you more desirable. The concept of unavailability is rooted in the psychological principle of scarcity. According to this principle, when something is scarce or hard to obtain, it becomes more valuable in our eyes. This idea has been extensively studied by psychologists, including Robert Cialdini, who explored it in his book Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion. When you make yourself less available, whether it's in your social life, your dating life, or even in your career, you create a sense of scarcity. This scarcity increases your perceived value, making others more likely to seek your attention, appreciate your time, and respect your boundaries. Think about it: when something is always available, always within reach, we tend to take it for granted. But when it becomes less accessible, we begin to crave it, to value it more. The same applies to people. If you're always there, always saying yes, always accommodating others, they may start to take you for granted. But when you become more selective, when you create a bit of distance, you suddenly become more intriguing, more desirable. The principles of scarcity and value in relationships. The principle of scarcity doesn't just apply to material goods, it's a powerful force in relationships as well. When you're less available, you're signaling that your time, energy, and attention are valuable. You're demonstrating that you have your own life, your own priorities, and that you're not willing to sacrifice them for just anyone. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It's about recognizing your own worth and not overextending yourself. It's about creating a healthy balance where you're not always giving, always chasing, always trying to please. Instead, you're allowing others to earn your time and attention. In relationships, this creates a dynamic of mutual respect. When someone has to work a little harder to earn your attention, they're more likely to appreciate it. They're less likely to take you for granted because they recognize that your time and energy are not easily given. How to harness silent power. Practical tips for being strategically unavailable. So how can you harness the power of unavailability in your own life? Here are some practical tips to help you become more strategically unavailable without compromising your authenticity or relationships. Set clear boundaries. The first step in becoming more unavailable is setting clear boundaries. Decide what's important to you and what you're willing to make time for. If something doesn't align with your priorities or values, don't be afraid to say no. Boundaries protect your time and energy, ensuring that you're not constantly overextending yourself. They also signal to others that you respect yourself and expect the same from them. Be selective with your time. Don't feel obligated to say yes to every invitation, request, or opportunity. Be selective with how you spend your time. Prioritize activities and relationships that truly enrich your life. By being more selective, you create a sense of scarcity around your availability, which naturally increases your value in the eyes of others. Don't always be readily available. If you're always available at the drop of a hat, people may start to take your presence for granted. Instead, create a bit of distance. For example, don't always respond immediately to messages or drop everything to accommodate others. This doesn't mean being distant or unresponsive. It's about balancing your availability so that others appreciate your presence when they have it. Focus on your own life. One of the most attractive qualities a person can have is a fulfilling, independent life. Focus on your own goals, passions, and interests. When you're fully engaged in your own life, you naturally become less available, and this adds to your allure. Pursuing your own passions not only makes you more interesting to others, but it also reinforces your self-worth. You're not waiting around for someone else to complete you, you're already complete on your own. Create space for others to miss you. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. By creating space in your relationships, whether it's taking time for yourself, being less available, or not always initiating contact, you give others the opportunity to miss you. This space can reignite interest and appreciation, making your interactions more meaningful and your presence more valued. Balancing mystery and genuine interest. While being unavailable can be powerful, it's important to balance this with genuine interest and connection. The goal isn't to play hard to get or to be aloof, it's to create a dynamic where your time and attention are respected and valued. Make sure that when you are available, you're fully present and engaged. Show genuine interest in others, listen actively, and connect deeply. This balance between availability and unavailability creates a sense of intrigue without sacrificing authenticity. Remember, the key to silent power is not in being distant, but in being discerning. It's about knowing your worth and not overextending yourself. It's about creating a dynamic where others appreciate and value your presence, because they know it's not always guaranteed. Examples of silent power in action. Real-life examples of individuals who used unavailability to their advantage. Let's look at some real-life examples of individuals who effectively harnessed the power of unavailability and saw remarkable results in their relationships and careers. Example 1. The professional rise of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was known for his enigmatic presence and selective availability. He was a visionary leader who didn't make himself readily available to just anyone. He was selective with his time, focusing on projects and people that aligned with his vision. This unavailability added to his mystique and aura of genius. People wanted to work with him, to be in his presence, not just because of his talents, but because his time and attention were seen as valuable commodities. Jobs' strategic unavailability made others value his input and presence even more. Example 2. The romantic strategy of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, one of the most iconic actresses of all time, was known for her allure and mystery. While she was undoubtedly a public figure, she also knew the power of creating distance. Monroe didn't make herself overly available to the public or the men in her life. She maintained an air of mystery that kept people intrigued and captivated. Monroe's selective availability made her even more desirable. People wanted to know more about her, to be closer to her, because she wasn't always within reach. Her strategic use of unavailability enhanced her image as an enigmatic and irresistible figure. Lessons learned from these examples. What can we learn from these examples? The key takeaway is that unavailability, when used strategically, can significantly enhance your value and attractiveness. Whether in professional settings like Steve Jobs or in personal relationships like Marilyn Monroe, creating a sense of scarcity around your time and presence can make others more eager to connect with you. These examples show that silent power is not about being inaccessible or distant. It's about being discerning with your time and energy. It's about creating an aura of value around yourself so that when you do engage, your presence is truly appreciated. Summarizing the key points. As we've explored today, silent power, the power of being selectively unavailable, can have a profound impact on your relationships, both personal and professional. By understanding the psychology of scarcity, setting clear boundaries, and being discerning with your time, you can increase your value and attract more meaningful connections. Remember, being less available makes you more desirable because it creates a sense of scarcity. Setting boundaries and being selective with your time reinforces your self-worth. Balancing unavailability with genuine interest creates a dynamic of respect and intrigue. Intriguing message about the power of mystery and attraction. So the next time you find yourself overextending or always saying yes, take a step back. Embrace the power of unavailability. Let others come to you, appreciate your time, and value your presence. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to create a little distance, a little mystery, and let the allure of your presence speak for itself. Remember, in a world that's always on, always connected, there's something incredibly attractive about someone who knows when to step back, when to create space, and when to let others seek them out. That's the essence of silent power, knowing your worth and letting others come to appreciate it.